Hey everybody, welcome to Board Online, Board Offline. Today we are finally bringing you the final part in our Gloomhaven instructional series. So this is going to cover all the kind of nooks and crannies of rules that haven't been covered yet, and it's specifically going to focus on how to play campaign mode, which is really the primary way to play Gloomhaven. You can't play casual mode or just some random dungeon scenarios. I'm going to leave all that for you to find out on your own in the rulebook. We're going to cover just the campaign play here today. A lot of these rules will cross over with those other modes of play anyway. Before we get down to the game topper though, I want to tell you about our sponsor, Board Game Co. This is a great website where you can buy, sell, and trade games. Board Game Co. makes it easy for you to go in there and purchase some new games to fill out your collection, or if you're looking to get your collection trimmed down a little bit, they will take those off your hands and pay you for them in the process. And of course, if you have if you're just looking to trade some games, they have a great system for doing that too. If you have a Board Game Geek account, they'll actually even link into that, see what games are on your trade list. They will see what games you want in trade, what games you have for trade. They'll compare that to their stock and build a list right there on their website to facilitate that trade. Now, of course, if you don't have a Board Game Geek account or you don't have a trade list set up on Board Game Geek, they can still, you can still trade with them. You just have to kind of do a little extra legwork there yourself. Board Game Co., if you do go over to visit them, please click on the link in the description below so they know I sent you over there. And Board Game Co. makes it easy to buy, sell, and trade your way into a better collection. Okay, we're going to get down to the table to the game topper, and I'm going to show you how to play Gloomhaven, the campaign portion of it. And I do want to mention we have the 3 previous videos, links in the description below for those as well. All these videos together will get you playing Gloomhaven in no time. All right, so let's get down to the game topper and I'll show you how to play Gloomhaven. In this video, we'll discuss everything you need to know to play campaign mode in Gloomhaven. In campaign mode, players will form a party of characters and undertake a number of consecutive scenarios over multiple play sessions. This allows players to follow a story thread as they make decisions and explore a path of their own choosing. A scenario may only be played in campaign mode if all prerequisite global and party achievements are active for the party. Requirements are found at the top of the scenario page. In this case, to play scenario number 2, the first step's party achievement must be complete. Also, once a scenario has been completed in campaign mode, it cannot be undertaken again by any party in campaign mode. The campaign board is used to track the global progress of the game world. I've got mine mounted on the wall and I didn't want to take it down, so that's why you're seeing it here. Also, don't worry, the stickers that you're seeing on the board are not spoilers, as you can easily match them up simply by looking at the sticker sheet in the board when you initially open the game. The locations, achievements, and prosperity tracked on the board apply globally to all players playing in the world. Let's take a closer look at the campaign board. As you can see, the campaign board shows Gloomhaven itself as well as the surrounding area. The numbered circles on the map represent scenarios that can be unlocked through the course of playing the campaign. Anytime a scenario is unlocked, the corresponding sticker is attached to the map. Whenever a scenario is completed in the campaign, its blank spot on the sticker is marked. Across the top of the map are spaces for tracking global achievements as they become unlocked, and you can see some of the ones I've unlocked so far. Along the bottom, players will find the prosperity track. As Gloomhaven's prosperity increases, a square on the track should be marked for each point of increase, moving from left to right. At certain thresholds, this will increase the prosperity of Gloomhaven. Also, one note on global achievements. There seems to be some confusion in the forums often about whether or not the global achievements actually do anything. Essentially, these are just there to let you know whether or not you're able to proceed into certain scenarios, as they will show up as requirements for that scenario. Also, in the top right corner of the map, you can see Gloomhaven blown up in a more detailed scale with its own individual scenario numbers as well. This is the party sheet. A party is formed anytime a new group of players gets together to play the game. The players should document the formation of the party, starting a new entry in the party sheet notepad. A party can persist from scenario to scenario and play session to play session for as long as the players want. Character and player changes to the party are fine. However, if a new party is formed, the characters of that party should be new and unique to it. Let's take a closer look at exactly what the players will find on the party sheet. Here, the players can name their party. Players track their current scenario here. This will be primarily relevant for linked scenarios when the players pack up the game between scenarios. This space is for any general notes the party would like to jot down. Party achievements should be noted in this space since there are no stickers for party achievements like there are global achievements. The party's reputation is tracked here. As the party gains or loses reputation, be sure to adjust the mark on the track to the appropriate space. This reputation affects the shop price modifier found here. The higher your reputation, the bigger the discount. The lower your reputation, the more you're going to have to pay. This is a character sheet specifically for the Vermling Mine Thief. When a new character is created, the player should start a new entry in the character's corresponding character sheet notepad. Each character class has their own sheet, and it is used to keep track of experience points, gold, items, perks, and available ability cards they have in their deck. Let's take a look at exactly what a player will find on their character sheet. Players name their character here. The current level of the character is marked here. Characters will level up by reaching the total experience points listed below each level. Spaces to keep detailed notes on the experience points and gold the character has for here and here. Also, there's a space to keep notes on the items available to the character. A list of perks specifically available to that character are found here. Anytime a character gains a perk, it should be marked off in the appropriate box. And then there's a space for additional notes, as well as an area to check the check marks attained through battle goals. When a character is created, they are dealt 2 random personal quest cards and choose one to keep. The other is returned to the personal quest deck. The personal quest of a character is their primary reason for joining the party. On the card, players will find a thematic description of the quest, followed by the actual specific requirements to complete the quest, as well as the reward for doing so. So in this case, this character would have to donate 120 gold to the Sanctuary of the Great Oak, and then they'd be able to open the box with the saw icon. Whenever a random item design is listed as the reward for looting a treasure tile, the looting player should draw a card from the random item design deck. These look very similar to the normal item cards, but they have a blue back, as you can see. When one is drawn, the player should find the one additional copy of the drawn item, which will have the same reference number in the deck of unavailable items, which you can see here. Add both cards to the city's available supply of items. If the random item design deck ends up getting completely depleted, then additional random item design rewards have no effect. Whenever a random side scenario is listed as the reward for looting a treasure tile, the player should draw a card from the random side scenario deck. The drawn design is then immediately unlocked and its sticker placed on the campaign map. The random scenario card is then removed from the game. If the random side scenario deck is ever completely depleted, additional random side scenario rewards have no effect. Players will have many opportunities to encounter city and road events throughout a campaign. When players encounter an event, they draw the top card of the appropriate deck and read the front side. It's important that the back not be read until the front is resolved. So in this case, the players would have to choose, after reading this brief scenario, between option A and option B. City and road events have different art, but essentially function the same way. Let's take a look at exactly what players will find on event cards. Here is the thematic introduction to the event, which should be read first. And then here is the decision point, where players must choose between the 2 options. Only after a collective decision is reached should the card be flipped over. Each event is uniquely numbered. As you can see, this is number 7. These numbers are referenced in the game when instructing players to add events to the deck. On the back of the card, players will find descriptions of both choices they could have made on the front of the card. Players should read the appropriate choice and then ignore the other one. The outcome of the choice is listed first with a thematic description of what happened, followed by the actual gameplay effect. It is possible that certain outcomes will be specific to certain conditions. This icon indicates that the event is now removed from the game, while this icon indicates the event is returned to the bottom of the corresponding deck. When the game box is opened and the campaign begins, a shuffled city event deck and road event deck should be created using events numbers 1 through 30. When a player is directed to add an event to the deck should be shuffled again. However, when an event is simply returned to the deck, it is placed on the bottom of the deck and the deck is not shuffled. A class icon indicates that as long as that class is part of the party, that outcome must be applied. An outcome with a reputation range, as you see here, must be applied if that party's reputation is within the range. If a party is able to collectively pay an indicated amount of gold, as you see right here, the gold must be paid and then the outcome is applied. In situations like this, if none of the preceding outcomes were applied, then the otherwise outcome is applied instead. If an outcome has no condition, it is always applied. A collective reward or penalty is distributed amongst the party, whereas a reward or penalty that specifies each, such as gain 2 gold each, is applied to each character individually. If a player is required to lose a certain amount of anything, such as money or reputation, but is unable to due to not having a sufficient amount, they lose what they can and then continue resolving the event. A character may never lose a check mark that would cause them to lose a perk. So since this third mark here provided the character with a perk, they would not be able to lose that mark. A character may also never have negative money or lose experience points below the minimum for their current level. And in that same line of thinking, Gloomhaven may never lose prosperity to the point that it would be brought below its current level. City events and road events are functionally identical. However, city events may be resolved when a player has visited Gloomhaven. This may only be done once in between each scenario. Keep in mind, though, that if a player visits Gloomhaven, resolves a city event, then completes a scenario that is actually within Gloomhaven, they are then allowed to visit Gloomhaven again and resolve another city event. So basically, each time a scenario is completed, that is considered a new opportunity to visit Gloomhaven. Gloomhaven includes a number of sealed boxes and envelopes, each designated with a symbol or letter. At certain times, the game will direct players to open one of these. This may unlock a new character class or other contents. Players will be directed to open boxes or envelopes as they complete personal quests or meet specific conditions listed on page 49 of the rulebook. The game also includes a sealed book titled Town Records. Players are allowed to open this book once the first character retires, at which point they can begin reading the book from front to back. However, the book will direct players to stop reading at certain points until certain other conditions have been met. The achievement system is the main way players keep track of major changes in the world and what scenarios a party has access to while playing in campaign mode. The two types of achievements are global achievements and party achievements. Global achievements affect the entire game world and all parties within it. There are stickers that coincide with these global achievements. These stickers will be placed along the top of the map as you've previously seen and are used to track the global achievements. This right here helps you match up the stickers with the appropriate slot on the map that you saw on my wall a moment ago. Some achievements have a specific type, for instance, City Rule, which as you can see here has militaristic, economic, and demonic. Only one achievement of a specific type may be active at a time. If a new achievement of that same type was achieved, the sticker would be placed over the old one. As previously mentioned, party achievements are tied to a specific party and are mainly used to keep track of what scenarios are available to play in campaign mode for that party, tracked here at the bottom of the party sheet. After every scenario, whether it was a success or failure, players may return to Gloomhaven if they wish. Players are also allowed to travel directly to a new scenario or replay the one they just played. If the players choose to travel to a new scenario, they must check to see if the scenario is linked to the one they just completed. As you can see, scenario number 2, Barrow Lair, is linked to scenario number 1, Black Barrow. If the scenarios are not linked, then they must draw and resolve a road event. If the scenarios are linked, however, then they do not resolve a road event. So if the player had just completed Black Barrow and wished to play Barrow Lair next, they could go straight to Barrow Lair without completing a road event. Also, if they are replaying the same scenario, a road event is also not resolved. If the players have just completed a scenario and are now returning to Gloomhaven, they do not resolve a road event on the way to Gloomhaven. However, once they finish their business in Gloomhaven, if they travel to a scenario that is not linked to Gloomhaven itself, they must then resolve a road event. Whenever a party returns to Gloomhaven, which can occur once after each successful or failed scenario played during the campaign, they can perform a variety of activities. They can create new characters, complete a city event, buy or sell items, level up their character, donate to the sanctuary, enhance ability cards, and announce retirement. Let's discuss each of these activities in a little more detail. Players primarily create new characters when they first start playing the game or when they retire an old character. However, players can also create new characters whenever they want to try something new. Initially, there are 6 classes available to play: Brute, Tinkerer, Spellweaver, Scoundrel, Cragheart, and Mind Thief. When a player creates a new character, they gain access to that player's character mat and deck of level 1 and X ability cards. The player fills out the character sheet for that class and takes 2 personal quest cards at random, as we previously discussed, picks one, and shuffles the other one back into the deck. Players may start their new character at any level equal to or lower than Gloomhaven's current prosperity level. So, with me, since Gloomhaven for me is currently at prosperity level 3, I could start my Vermling Mind Thief at level 3, or 2, or 1. If a player starts their character higher than level 1, they go through the entire level up process for that level. We'll discuss the level up process shortly. New characters also receive an amount of gold equal to 15 times the character's level plus 1. So if I was starting Poopity Scoop at level 3, he would start with 46 gold. And finally, the character starts with experience points equal to the minimum amount required for their level. In this case, 95. Now is probably a good time to talk about leveling up. When a character gains the amount of experience points listed on the table, in this case 150 for level 4, they must level up the next time they visit Gloomhaven. Again, it's important to remember 2 things. Leveling up only occurs in Gloomhaven, and leveling up once you're in Gloomhaven is compulsory. When a character levels up, the player adds 1 new card to their active card pool. Let's say that this Vermling was leveling up from level 1 to level 2. When the character levels up, the player unlocks the cards of the indicated level. The player now adds 1 new card to their active card pool. So perhaps Hostile Takeover gets added to the card pool. The other card will be returned to the deck of unused cards for that class. The Vermling can take 10 ability cards into a scenario with them. They now are able to choose from their level 1 cards, their level X cards, and this level 2 card that has been added to their active pool. But now let's say the Vermling was leveling up from level 2 to level 3. This would mean that the Vermling now had unlocked these 2 level 3 cards. So they could choose one of these to go into the active pool, but they also could choose from that other level 2 card they previously did not choose. When choosing the new card to go into the active pool, the key is to remember that it must be from the character's current level or any previous level. Additionally, when leveling up, the player can mark one of the perk boxes to the right of their character sheet, maybe this one. Leveling up also increases the character's total hit points, so at level 1, the Mind Thief has 6, at level 2, 7, at level 3, 8, and so on. When in Gloomhaven, characters can use their gold to purchase items from the shop. They may also sell their items to the shop at half the price listed on the card, rounded down. So, the Eagle Eye Goggles can be sold for 15 gold, the Minor Stamina Potion, 5 gold. Sold items go back into the city's available supply. There is no limit to the number of items a player may own. Also, players may never trade money or items amongst themselves. When the game is opened and the campaign initially begins, the city's available supply will consist of all copies of items number 1 through 14. The item numbers found on the back of the card as you see here. New items may be added to the supply in the following ways. Item designs may be gained through quests and treasure. As the city gains prosperity and levels up, new items are added based on this list found on page 43 of the rulebook. And if a character retires, all of their items go back to the shop. There are some limitations that should be noted. Items are limited by the number that exists in the game. No character may ever own more than one copy of any item. If multiple parties are playing the same copy of Gloomhaven, any items in the possession of unused characters are considered to be available and can be purchased. For this reason, it's important for players to keep track of what items their character is in possession of. Once per visit to Gloomhaven, each player can donate 10 gold to the Sanctuary of the Great Oak. Doing so allows the donating player to add 2 Bless attack modifier cards to their attack modifier deck for the next scenario. Also, as you can see, once you reach a certain amount donated, envelope B is opened. Once players have completed the Power of Enhancement global achievement, they can spend gold while visiting Gloomhaven to increase the power of their ability cards. As you see here, I've changed attack 3 on Skewer to now attack 4 with this +1 enhancement. To do this, the player places the desired sticker from the enhancement sticker sheet seen here onto a designated spot of an ability card. The ability card must be in the character's active card pool. This is also a permanent enhancement to the ability that affects not only the current character, but also all future characters using that ability. There are a variety of ways abilities may be enhanced. Each enhancement must have its cost paid entirely by the character whose ability is being enhanced. Each kind of enhancement sticker has different restrictions on where it can be placed, as you can see here on page 46. If an enhancement refers to the main ability line, this means the ability written in large font, like attack 3, as opposed to modifiers written in smaller font, such as these modifiers here. The base cost associated with any enhancement depends on the sticker and also what ability the sticker is enhancing. Finally, keep in mind that a player may never have more enhanced cards in a class's ability deck than the prosperity level of Gloomhaven. So right now, I cannot have any more than a total of 3 enhancements in any class's deck. Retirement, just like leveling up, only occurs in Gloomhaven and is compulsory. If a character has fulfilled the conditions of their personal quest, they must retire upon their next visit to Gloomhaven. The character may first perform any other town activities they wish, however, they may not play further scenarios. Items the character still has are returned to the supply, but keep in mind that character could sell those items prior to retirement and then use that gold for any further enhancement of their class's cards. Any gold that character still has, though, when retiring is lost. All materials for that character are then returned to the box, and then Gloomhaven gains 1 prosperity. Fulfilling a personal quest will always unlock something new. As you see here, when I fulfilled the Battle Legend personal quest, it opened the music note symbol box. A new class is the most frequent thing that will be unlocked. If a player is directed to unlock a class that has already been unlocked, they instead unlock a random item design and a random side scenario. If a player is directed to unlock a class that has already been unlocked, they instead unlock a random item design and a random side scenario. The fulfilled personal quest is removed from the game. For each character a player retires, that player will now receive 1 additional perk to apply to all future characters they create. This effect is cumulative, so the player will need to keep track of the number of characters they've retired. So for instance, if this Mind Thief retired, and the player now played a Brute, they would receive 1 additional perk when creating that Brute because of the retired Mind Thief. If that Brute then retired and the player now chose a Cragheart, they would receive 2 additional perks when creating that Cragheart, and this would continue going as long as the player continued retiring characters. Now, one little quirk here when playing solo. A solo player should keep track of the individual lineages of the two characters they're using. Since a player cannot play with a single character class when playing solo, and they'll be playing with two characters, they will want to keep track of which character was followed up by another one, and the same with the other characters. So essentially creating almost a family tree for these two characters to keep track of the number of perks that those characters should be getting when the next character is created in that lineage. The first time a specific class retires, check the back of their class card for which city and road events to add to the city and road event deck. This will be the rightmost number in the bottom right corner. Unlocked character classes will have new event cards listed in this number here, which is just a dash on the 6 initial character classes since they are unlocked when the game begins. When a player retires a character, they then create a new character using a new character class or the same one as before. Also, it should be mentioned that it is possible to run out of personal quest cards. If this happens, the new character does not receive a personal quest. A character without a personal quest can never retire. However, as usual, the player is still allowed to switch to a new character whenever they wish. And finally, just as a reminder, it is very important to be familiar with this list on page 49 of certain conditions that will unlock various features throughout the game. So there you go. That is how to play Gloomhaven. I've now taught you everything you need to know to play the game. Be sure to come back at some point in the future. I'm going to do an instructional video for Forgotten Circles, which was a small expansion that came out for Gloomhaven, and I did back Frosthaven, and so whenever that comes in, you can expect plenty of Frosthaven content from us as well. Finally, I do want to mention we have a contest going on, a giveaway, where we've got quite a few fantastic games we're giving away. You can find all the details in this video right here, so be sure to check that out and get into that giveaway for your chance to win some great games. And until next time, if you're bored online, bored offline.